And from 2,000 feet in the air with pilot John Waugh flying the Channel 9 chopper tonight, the eye in the sky over ANZ Stadium, the Olympic Stadium, with around 80,000 fans waiting down here as Origin enters its 36th year, its 34th series and 103rd game, and the skeptics said it will never work. So a sea of sky blue away down towards the northern end of the ground. 15,000 of the Blatchy's Blues fans are down there. And at the other end of the ground in the maroon outfit is the Queensland 18th man. That's their official title these days. New South Wales then endeavouring to defend the trophy for the first time in almost a decade. And not since 2006 have they been in defence of the title. Cameron Smith then is on his way. Game 34 and captaincy number 13 for Cameron. Only player ever to win 20 Origin games. And the 18th man, or the 18th men, they rise for Queensland's entry onto the hallowed turf here of Rugby League headquarters in New South Wales. Queensland then with their superstar team equally desperate to regain the championship they proudly held for that record 8-year period. And Robbie Farah, for just the second time, takes the Blues out, installed as captain, of course, with the absence of Paul Gallen. And they don't really know what it's like to defend the crown, not yet anyway. ANZ Stadium, it hasn't been a happy hunting ground for the Maroons. 22 games here, they've won only 6. And when game 1 of a series has been held here, they've won only 1 of 7. And of course it's a game 1, that carries a lot more importance this year, because the second will be played on neutral territory at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. But against all those minuses, this is still one of the great squads of Origin. Slater, Inglis, Thurston, Cronk and Smith reunite again as the Blues with Josh Jackson there foremost. On debut, 2 tests for Australia. They're assembling for the rendition of the Australian national anthem. And you can see that some of the younger Blues are quite nervous, quite edgy as we go down to the ground.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for the national anthem of Australia, to be performed by Josh Pitterman, who can be seen in the upcoming musical Cats.
Gifts of beauty, rich and rare, in history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains and let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Wow, a big voice for a big occasion, you might say. A crowd has said of about 80,000 in. They were worried that they might have trouble getting over 70, but the ticket sales have been absolutely wonderful in the last few days, as the Maroons and the Blues get set now to do battle in the 34th series. Michael Jennings in 3, Daniel Tupou in 5. And the Roosters will dominate that left side attack for New South Wales. Greg Inglis, equal leading try scorer on 15 with Darius Boyd. He has played, though, in 4 more matches than Durridge. He's been suffering tonsillitis through the week. They put him in hospital onto an IV. And Michael Jennings, this speed machine from the Roosters. Bill Slater will be tested, there's no doubt about that. That shoulder's not right, not 100% anyway, and he'll be under extreme pressure, there is no doubt. Jared Sutton,
Right, get behind it, boys.
one of the referees in this match tonight. Ben Cummins is the other. The Blues running or defending the northern end. Queensland will kick off. So Origin is underway for 2015. Taken by Hodkinson and given to Woods, and the youngster from West Tigers is put down. 15 away. It was a fairly soft confrontation, really, for Aaron Woods, as they take the second play and go beyond the 20-metre line. Where Hoffman played it, Woods takes his second run in 3 tackles and put down by Corey Parker and Matt Scott. Around 35 metres out from the line, and Tamo makes it to the 40. Farah goes into dummy half. They might kick early. No, they go across the face. And Pearce gives the ball to Beau Scott. And the Newcastle Knights, Beau Scott plays the ball near halfway. And Pearce sends it high and down into the corner. Billy Slater from the field of play brings it back. An arcing run that takes him 8 metres, not quite that. Away from his own line. Good chase by the forward, Aaron Woods, and also Ryan Hoffman. And so they go away for a run there by Chambers. He's playing in just his second Origin game. And Justin Hodges then, just inside the 20-metre line. Cameron Smith dummy half, and Friday takes a run and channels his run back in towards the markers, who stayed alert. And Queensland drive it down now towards the 20-metre line, where Dugan gets his first touch of the night. Dugan taken by Cronk, who of course was out very early in the first game last year and returned in game 3. A comment on the sideline, Darren Lockyer.
The atmosphere is outstanding. The field, a little bit greasy on the edges, but in the middle, it's perfect.
So the man that played most Origins ever, Darren Lockyer, 36 Origins in his wonderful career. Aaron Woods in an upright tackle, getting support from James Tamo. Not so, though, from Aiden Guerra. The ball goes to Jackson, and Jackson, who so much is expected of, will play the ball 7 or 8 metres into Queensland's territory, and Hodkinson goes high and deep down into the wing situation there. And it's taken by Will Chambers again, and he's made a good run and taken it out to the 40-metre line.
Yeah, not great defence there from the Blues chase to allow Will Chambers to beat them on the outside, as Justin Hodges fires one wide to Thurston, who looks for support on the outside. Beau Scott nails him on the inside. Get used to that. Yeah,
that was predictable. Beau Scott was really on John Thurston recently in an NRL game against the Cowboys, and brought a lot of discussion. So Queensland now up to the 30-metre line in the centre of the ground. And Corey Parker it is who plays the ball. Showed it to Miles, did Smith. It's gone over to Friday now, 25 metres out. State of Origin 1, exclusive and live on 9. Through Win and NBN, the kick is testing and brought down by Hopewadi. William Hopewadi in just his 3rd Origin game.
Yeah, it's a nerve settler for Will Hopewadi as Josh Dugan tries to break clear. 4 kicks so far in this game from 4 different kickers. Cameron Smith out of dummy half. Cooper Cronk, the attacking kick, whilst for the Blues, both Hodkinson and Pearce have boot the ball in the opening minutes.
Remarkable how the Queenslanders decided to go on the attack. A great break by Will Chambers, opened an opportunity. Let's see if New South Wales follow suit here. Here's a short break.
So Jennings, after that good run, the ball comes away to Woods, and Woods is to the halfway, almost dropped the ball. Corey Parker says to the referee he did drop it, but I don't think so. Farah goes over, Pearce puts a kick on, down to Slater, middle of the ground. Puts a foot on the into the in goal, but he's been ruled to have taken the ball in the field of play.
Well, that's the second time Mitchell Pearce has come up with an inch-perfect kick from long range. Just landing in the field of play. And again, forcing the Maroons deep in their territory.
Flopped in and held.
Penalty of the game goes against the home team.
It's been an interesting couple of kicks there from Mitchell Pearce. He's really been deliberate in kicking it long so that he isolates Billy Slater on his own. He doesn't want him to link up with wingers. He wants him to run the ball back on his own so his teammates can test out this shoulder. Look at this, he kicks it as far as he can. He wants to get it down there in behind the two wingers so the wingers can't get back and support him. Billy's got to run it on his own. That's where they look to gather him up. Give him a little bit of a massage.
So Queensland will take the free kick on the halfway line over on the eastern side of the ground. The stadium near capacity. I would think it around about the high 70s, 80,000. I think it holds about 82, 83. As Thurston comes on to Cronk, and Cronk gives it to Guerra back on the inside. And Guerra's taken there by Farah, and a bit of an assist from Scott. Now it's with Greg Inglis going from left to right back to Thurston to link with Thaiday down the right side. Played back for Greg Inglis to stay alert at dummy half, and Thurston, he flops a pass back. It's come down, but it's a knock-on against Queensland. And the Blues rejoice.
Well, it was one of Queensland's favourite set plays there. The centre coming from left to right across field, being something of a ball player in the middle to create space on the outside. Thaiday was hit in a good tackle, but it created a good quick play, the ball. They got out over the advantage line on the next play. Would have come up with the fumble. Spider cam right above the scrum here.
Billy, come in, please. Just heading, thanks, Bobby.
And in that set of six, you saw one of the reasons why Trent Hodkinson is in this team. And that was great defence on the left edge. Immediately after Josh Jackson came up with a great shot. The two Bulldogs, very good as Tupou loses the football in the tackle, picked up by Boyd.
And Darius Boyd, right on the 20-metre line, gives Queensland good attacking position on the ground as Corey Parker is put down. 10 metres out in front of the uprights. Boyd. And now it's come from Smith and gone on to Cronk, and here's Slater reeling away from Jennings and then trying to burrow. But Hoffman and Tamo make the tackle. Scott is with the ball at first receiver, and he will play the ball. He's been uplifted there by Woods with some help from Farah. Scott plays the ball, and Smith goes away to Cronk, and Cronk throwed a short dummy but pulled it back, takes the tackle. A metre out from the line. Here is Cameron Smith going along out the back for Thurston. They roll the ball in, and Slater's appealed for a try. Billy Slater.
Okay, Bernie.
Queensland #1. No stranger to four-pointers. Believes he's got one, and so does Garrett Sutton.
There's contact by Slater pushing him out of the way, and then the grounding.
Well, they put themselves under pressure, New South Wales, with a drop ball from the winger Daniel Tupou. And an unkind bounce here. The Blues players are claiming that one of theirs was pushed in the chase to get back and get the football. From a distance, Billy Slater had to do a good job to get downward pressure on this. As always, times his run perfectly. Jonathan Thurston goes to the line. Kicks through, brings the Blues defence up. Already Hodkinson and Jennings have turned to chase. The bounce goes away from Hodkinson. Is there contact? There's a little bit of contact, but is it legal here in the jostle, the hustle to get to the football between Hodkinson and Slater?
Well, is it a push in the back? The previous shot, Daniel Tupou blocks your view. And then Slater, this is a better shot for you. Does he put pressure on Hodkinson at the back? And then does he get downward pressure? Well, he's got a part of the hand on the ball. Whether they'll rule against Slater for a push in the back remains. No try anyway. The restart. Which way's that going?
He's denied Trent an opportunity to get the ball by pushing him, mate.
So it's going to be a penalty.
Yeah. No, what you can do is run shoulder to shoulder, but you can't push with the hands. Okay, Benny.
Well, that's the description from Gerard Sutton that he's taken straight from the manual. You can, in pursuit of the ball, jostle with the hips and the arms, but you can't push in the back, and that's what Billy Slater has been found to have done. He's been ruled as a push in the back. He certainly got downward pressure with the thumb of the right hand, but no try has been ruled. And Tamo comes out to the 40-metre line. The big cowboy. Now for Hoffman, who's had a couple of concussions this year.
Shot Miles.
Scott and Miles making the tackle. Miles was the Queensland players player in the series last year. Play on the halfway line. There he is, Big Nate. 27 games of Origin, 1 try. Now it's back for Hodkinson. Now to Morris. And Josh is able to beat a bit of traffic. And he'll play the ball on the 30-metre line. He made that memorable tackle in game 1 at the 68th minute on Greg Inglis. Remember that from last year. Here's Jackson. Playing it inside the 30-metre line for Robbie Farah. Comes short side for Hodkinson. Scott makes the tackle. I think it's okay. Right back and down by Hopewadi. It's gone away to Pearce. On to Jennings. But they've called it back. They've called it back. Penalty goes Queensland.
I think in front of the kicker,
Offside,
right?
mate.
They're still playing another game of football over
in, Brett,
there.
go in.
But the referees are over here.
They'll have to pull it
Well,
up
one of
shortly.
them is. The other one's over there. I don't think he knows it's been stopped.
Yeah, Hodkinson caught this ball deep and he didn't catch it on the run. He sort of stood his ground, and the outside players
Kick chase, Robbie.
weren't
Can't
sure
talk
if he was
now,
going to
mate.
kick back
Can't talk.
infield. He chose to kick down the short side, and they were marginally offside.
We're going, Robbie.
But it was interesting in the previous play how Pearce played to Hodkinson. Gee whiz. If Slater was onside on the previous one, they were both onside there.
Yeah, thanks,
So
mate.
Queensland,
Hold, ball.
2-1 in the penalties.
Hold, go.
Yeah, I think they might have gone against Bo Scott, who got the football.
Here, Robbie, hold.
Just on the Queensland side of halfway. Comedy there with half the players over on the far side. They are under the jurisdiction of a touch judge over there. And he looked like he'd taken over as a referee, but in fact he was trying to stop them to come back to where they wanted to restart with a penalty. Cronk it is that turns it back on the inside, and Smith has the ball stolen from him
One-on-one, but knocked on.
and knocked on by Tamo. So we're going to have a scrum that will be fed by Queensland.
It is Mitchell, but he's
They're
taking
30 metres out right in front.
I think both teams have been displaying some very clever defensive tactics around the ruck. Certainly not sprinting to chase the intended ball receiver. Too much respect for both dummy halves. We've got two of the best in the business in Robbie Farah and Cameron Smith on display.
Queensland with the oldest and most experienced side ever to play in Origin.
Hold.
Over here, mate, over here.
Hold. Gee, that first short, please.
So this is
Hold here.
a
Let's
really
go.
good
Right there,
chance
mate.
for the
Okay, Cameron,
Maroons.
heavy and arms bound. Here we go, Ryan.
Right in the centre of the park, 28 metres out. And they choose to go to the right side to Hodges. And will play the ball on the 20-metre line. Back now for Nate Miles to take it inside the 10. Bound for Manly next year. Smith then to Cronk, and Cronk gets a decoy from Parker, goes to Thurston. The ball has gone away to Greg Inglis, and Bo Scott is up in his face. Then 9 out, playing the ball back to Slater. Long pass away to Cronk, and then it's an inside ball for Parker. Corey Parker, 8 metres from the try line, which has avoided him in all of his Origin career. So Smith comes to the left side. He puts a kick in again. Guerra's after it fast, but it's been battered dead by Hopewadi. Line drop out to restart. Advantage Queensland again.
It may have been a bit of a late decision from Cam Smith there, Stulo. I don't think he had that plan. There didn't appear to be too many of the Maroons that were well aware that the ball was being dropped in behind the line.
Well, again, the Maroons got the bounce they wanted from the kick, and it was only a late change of direction by Will Hopewadi to get the ball out over the dead ball line in front of Aidan Guerra. Maintains the pressure.
So the line drop out taken by Josh Dugan. And the ball has bounced around Will Chambers. Eventually they're going to pick it up 10 metres on their own side of halfway. So it turned out to be a wonderful kick from Josh Dugan. Right on the halfway line then, Queensland. With young Chambers, who comes from the Gove Peninsula up there at the top end. 800th kangaroo just recently in the test match against New Zealand. Cronk then right side comes left to Thurston to go short into Parker. And Parker standing upright on the 30-metre line. Scott and Woods getting through a mountain of work blocking up the middle. Now for Matt Scott. And we play the ball just outside the 20. He's got the territorial advantage, haven't they, Queensland? The Cronk got a ball onto Thaiday. And around the legs is Hodkinson, but they got a chance here. They got the numbers. Cronk has got himself to score. He's only scored 2 tries in his Origin career, but he's got number 3, so it appears.
Well, there's no doubt about that one. The speed of the play, the ball, and the quick decision-making of the Maroons playmakers sees Cooper Cronk waltz his way across. You see the defence still going back, not really set. 3-on-1 on his outside. And that put the Blues defenders in all sorts. So he went himself.
So Cooper Cronk, probably the forgotten man to a point in the jigsaw of discussion leading up to this game. He was lost in the early part of game 1 last year, and he come back in game 3 to steer the Maroons to a whopping victory and preventing a Blues clean sweep. Quite surprisingly, it's only his 3rd try ever in the Origin arena, and he's playing his 15th game tonight. Jonathan Thurston, who's got an average goal-kicking strike rate of 77% club-wise, but Origin, I should say, is at 82%. Much higher than young Trent Hodkinson at 65%. And the kick absolutely online from Thurston. So it's 6-0 in favour of the Maroons.
Yeah, Sam Thaidays had 4 runs. They keep putting him on to Brett Hodkinson, and what they're trying to do here is get a quick play of the ball, if not the line break. And every one of his runs has produced a quick play the ball down, on his belly, up, and you'll see that Smith gets straight out of dummy half, puts Cronk on the run, and he's too quick for the defence. That's Sam Thaidays play the ball. It's putting him on a smaller man. If he doesn't get the line break, he's getting the quick play of the ball, and they nearly caught New South Wales out twice. That one produced a try.
Matt Scott it is, playing the ball, about 15 out from his own line. And they go to a blindside play for Aiden Guerra. 25 out coming down the western side for Darius Boyd. Smith then comes back to the short side and finds Greg Inglis. Now to the halfway line, and Smith it is, holding it back and not passing to Parker. Thurston goes to dummy half. First receiver Cronk, and he kicks high into the corner of Daniel Tupou. And here's the young rooster running into the shoulder of Scott.
They've had no quality possession at the moment, the Blues. This might help them with a penalty, albeit on tackle 1.
They've gone before the go, mate.
But with a couple of 6-agains and a couple of penalties, Queensland have dominated field position and just been able to get into the rhythm with their play. They've run all their tap sequences. They've got themselves into a really good rhythm. And New South Wales have had no chance to get their game on just yet.
No movement on the benches at this point as Woods will play the ball on the halfway line to his captain, the 2 West Tigers. And Hoffman goes ahead, but it's inside the 10, is it, against Queensland? So New South Wales with a couple of quick penalties. The penalty seems to be given against Sam Thaiday.
And they've got to be a little bit careful here, Queensland. They've been managing to control New South Wales' attack so far quite comfortably. But that was quite obvious. They were standing a metre or 2 in front of the referee, who'd given them a couple of warnings. Now they're under pressure. They're going to have to hold out.
So here's a chance for the Blues. They're 20 metres out, and Hoffman will take number 1. 15 out. Hodkinson goes behind Woods and goes through Pearce and picks up Jackson. Well, Josh Jackson, the youngster from Gulgong and Mudgee, plays the ball in front of the uprights. And then Woods, and now to Pearce, and back it goes to Jennings. Hodges has got him well and truly parcelled up, and he puts him away on the 10. Tupou a dummy hub. Now for Tamo. Tamo runs it straight. It's Corey Parker. Smith goes in with Scott. And that is the 10-metre line again. And we go into the 4th tackle, and Pearce with a step. Then he might have got one a touch high, but the referee doesn't think so. It's played by Pearce and spun away by Farah to Hopkinson. They're kicking now for Josh Morris in the main and William Hopewadi. And it's a penalty going to Queensland. Player taken out of the defence line, held without the ball.
Well, he was, Rabs, but I've got to say that Queensland were very lucky not to be penalised on that occasion. The way that they blocked the New South Wales runners that were charging through to try and compete for the ball, well, it seems to be a bit of a common part of the game at the moment, but they denied them any chance to make a good jump for the ball.
Well, we saw Karen Smith set up a try at the other end. He saved one in that set as well on Mitchell Pearce. He was the man who made the tackle. Very noticeable they're trying to get Greg Inglis closer to the play the ball on this left side. He's actually pushing his back rowers outside him to try and get close to the play the ball like he does with South Sydney at fullback.
So Parker, 35 out from his own line now, with Queensland relieved by that penalty for Boyd tackled in mid-air. Jared Sutton was giving an indication. I thought he was indicating that one of the players was held out for Queensland, but it was tackled in mid-air on Boyd. Here's Hodges with the ball now. What a great campaigner he's been. He's battled through an array of injuries, including 2 torn Achilles tendons. Justin Hodges, and still going on. This is his last rep season. It's Cronk puts a kick in. Chambers is after it fast. Tupou's underneath it. Daniel Tupou taken over there by Greg Inglis. He's been busy in the opening exchanges. Greg Inglis, now Josh Dugan. That's the 10, the Blues end of the ground. Jennings, Scott and Smith with the aid there of Greg Inglis making the tackle out on the 20. Now Hopewadi, and he's tidied up by Guerra and Parker with Scott. And Josh Maguire's about to make his origin debut, the 25-year-old. And here's Dugan getting a ball from Tamo, sprinting up the middle, kicks when he comes to Slater. Ball bounces down on the 10. Josh Morris has got the bounce from heaven. He puts the ball over the line. Here's a miracle work of this fellow, Josh Morris.
Have a try.
Jared Sutton thinks it's a try.
Look at the contact
Josh
on
Dugan got a kick away in the face of Billy Slater's defence, and then the bounce was absolutely picture perfect for Josh Morris.
Yeah, long-range try there from the Blues. That's the way to hit back. James Tamo set it off in the middle of the field. We've got Josh Dugan getting some attention out there after being the recipient of the offload. And he summed it up. He looked to his right and he saw Josh Morris. They're looking at the contact here from Billy Slater. Well, he's just bracing himself. Now that's in slow motion. Put in fast motion, there's not a whole lot he can do. And the kick here, I spoke about the Maroons getting some nice bounces from theirs at the other end. Well, this goes towards Josh Morris, sits up for him, and Darius Boyd can't get there. 6-4, kick to come.
Yeah, it's brilliant stuff, isn't it? The fullback pushing up in support of the forward. And Billy Slater and Josh Morris both had equal opportunity there, and it was the Blue, yeah, got one. 50-50 ball, and the Blue comes up with it.
Yeah, no worries.
That's a big, big try.
And back at ANZ Stadium, Josh Morris, who I mentioned was off the field injured in game 1 last year. And when he saw Greg Inglis break into the backfield, he got up and chased and made that tackle that may have actually won the game for them. So Trent Hodkinson's got this. His club percentage down to 65%. He's down from number 1 to number 16 this year. He's near the touchline. He's 25 out. It's a 45-degree kick into the southern end, and it's wide. So 6-4 to score.
This is what New South Wales need of their superstar fullback, Josh Dugan. Support around the ruck. It's hard in these slippery conditions to get your set plays on. He's got to be trailing his forwards for these close supports, these close offloads here that gets him in the backfield. Look at the size of him on the Harvey Norman replay. Big and strong. As I said, hard in these slippery conditions to get your set plays on and move the ball laterally. He's got to be supporting his forwards.
And a big rap too, as we see the New South Wales team go up, to Josh Morris to react. He was way over this side of the field, 40 metres away from where the break's made as Woods takes it forward. The easy thing would have been to stay back and watch, but our elite players don't do that. They react quickly, and he did.
Great ball from Tamo that really laid the foundation for what we saw. Here he is again, James Tamo.
Yeah, I think Tamo and Aaron Woods have been absolutely outstanding in the early exchanges here, and for the first time in a long time, New South Wales have got 4 genuine front rowers. There's 2 on the bench, and they should be watching what these starting 2 are doing, because they've got to come out and do exactly the same.
Farah allowed to run quite a long way. He's 5 metres into Moraines territory now. Cronk and Fide at marker, and Pearce gets a kick in the arms of Fide, who gentles him down. Slater gave it to Chambers, and Chambers playing the ball 15 away from his own line. Back for Slater to go to Darius Boyd. Equal leading try scorer at origin level. 3 tries in the last series leveled him up with Greg Inglis. And Nate Miles plays it to Justin Hodges, but there's a knock-on in the play the ball. New South Wales will come up with the ball 30 out.
It was a good stinging shot. Got off his line quickly, really jammed it into Nate Miles, and he just staggered a little bit as he got up. And there are some smiles amongst the New South Wales Blues here, who I think are doing it pretty well. They've weathered the storm early. It was Robbie Farah, the captain, who got off the line quickly. Jammed it into him nice and low, and as Miles goes to get up, he just fumbles it in the play the ball. But the Blues growing in confidence here after weathering the Queensland storm early.
Right there. Okay, let's go.
It mightn't look all that slippery out there, Gus, but there's a fair bit of dew on the field, making the footy pretty hard to hang on to, particularly under the pressure of 2 or 3 defenders.
Well, Ryan Hopkins' knee played a role, but it wasn't his fault. It was just poor ball security from Nate Miles in getting up.
The Blues then on the attack, 6-4 to score in favour of Queensland, and Woods incessantly lines up to take the ball forward to be hit by the Queensland defence of Smith and Miles. To the left to Hodkinson, and it's gone on to Jackson, and now to Dugan to the ground for Queensland. And there might have been a double knock on here. He's knocked on according to the referee. Queensland have knocked on. Is that his call? Indication came from Gerard Sutton.
Josh Maguire. Stay on the tackle.
And again, all this play going crossfield a little bit. Queensland are getting out and sliding out. It's very, very hard to get around a Queensland team. New South Wales sides have been trying for decades to get around them, and they just don't allow you. Sometimes you're better off
someone else
cutting your losses and looking to go through them, and you've got to be very, very good to get down the edges on the Maroons.
So Will Chambers was found to knock the ball on in attempting a tackle. And here's Jennings. The scrum was 10 metres away. Tupou with the ball. Tries to fend off Greg Inglis, but Inglis wins the battle with a bit of help from Thurston. Hopewati, Pearce, Woods. Woods is 10 out, 9 out, make it 8. For Aaron Woods. And now for Farah to give it on to Hopkinson, and they go away to Hoffman. And Ryan will Played the ball, the first warrior to play for New South Wales in Origin. Farah for Tamo. Tamo looking to unload as he takes a barrage of defence from Maguire and Parker. Farah again, a dummy. Hodkinson, Pearce, out the back for Beau Scott. And Scott goes over to score the Blues' second try.
Beautiful.
Referee checking with the touch judge. Let's see what Sutton says.
Try. Just clear the inside for us, mate.
Yeah, they didn't go around them that time. That time they punched the hole. You've got to give them a chance to miss tackles. If you continually try to go around Queensland, they will just herd you towards the sideline. They'll get up quickly. They'll shut you off. But on this time, the short ball to Beau Scott is the money ball. And he's able to get in behind the defenders who'd rushed up quickly on the edge. Good decoy run, good decoy run. They made a mistake here, Queensland. They tried to get up and cut it off, and it was the short ball that did it. And if Beau Scott has got this down on the line, the Blues have got their second.
Yeah, set play there. The Blues will be delighted that that came off. Trent Hodkinson coming from the left to the right. And Greg Inglis, the man rushing up and allowing some space for the Blues attack to get through. And that ball right down on the line from Beau Scott. New South Wales take the lead.
Yeah.
So it's a try. There's the try scorer over the back there, Beau Scott. Plays for the Newcastle club, going to Parramatta next year. A compassionate leave pass from Newcastle granted. He grew up as a fan of Balmain. He's about to join his fourth club with Parramatta, but it doesn't look like he's ever going to be a Tiger. Hodkinson then at 8-6, New South Wales in front. From 12 in from touch and 20 yard. This one he's got. 10-6, New South Wales leading.
We have a look at the high shot here from Spider Camp. Have a look at the evolution of the modern game where the set plays come from. Mitchell Pearce throws a beautiful pass to Beau Scott. The bottom of the screen, that's where he comes from there. Hides himself away, and then footwork and delicate hands on the Harvey Norman replay to put Beau Scott over. But it was extraordinary where he set himself up and where he got to.
Yeah, an important feature in goal line defence is you've got to stay in a straight line. Inglis and Boyd both charging out of the line to offer an opportunity. It was gladly taken.
This bloke is having an absolute ball, is he not, Tamo? Wally, he's really put his head down, his backside up. He and Woods have been outstanding.
Yeah, the power that he's displaying. This time being called off. New South Wales questioning the tackle. Being slammed into the ground.
I think it's Robbie Farah, is it?
Hey, just walk away. Hey, Queensland, back there. Cameron, take him back, please. He's dropped it. He's dropped it. Take him back.
Yeah, I think it's Robbie Farah. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
There it is on the replay. It's just been obscured from our natural view, but the replay telling us it's the number 9, the captain.
It looks like he squeezed his left shoulder there. Came down pretty hard on it.
Oh, his head hits the ground hard too.
Hodges and Thaiday, the defenders.
Tackle 2.
Yeah.
Tackle 2.
Now, Robbie Farah's got to keep going because
Tackle 2.
I
Tackle's
don't know that
complete,
they can
Justin.
cover if he
He's
comes
let go
off.
after he's injured. Tackle complete. Tackle 2.
That would be a big blow if they lost their hooker, given the way the bench is constructed.
Stay square, boys.
Yeah, there was
Arguably the best dummy half in the game, isn't he?
nothing wrong with the tackle either, and that's been called that way as Aaron Woods takes the ball forward. Just got him into an awkward position, not a dangerous one.
Well, he's the best we've got, Wally.
I did say there was an argument coming.
Here's Cordner. First of the bench players to come on from the Blues. As Pearce drives a kick down, it bounces friendly there for Chambers. Slater wants to go with him, but Chambers intent on taking on the front defender, Tamo. Hodkinson doing a lot of tackling out there. There's Hodges on his own 40-metre line. We've had 28 minutes of Origin 1 for Holden. And it's 10-6 in favour of New South Wales. Maguire. And the 17, Jacob Lillyman, is about to come into his 9th Origin game. Now it's with Nate Myers. Maguire, an interesting youngster. He played the Four Nations for Samoa. Mother of Samoan descent. And his dad did 29 years in the military. And here is Thurston now. And kick down to Dugan. Pressure for him. Challenged by Cronk. Taken by Inglis. Played by Dugan. Hodkinson goes to Hakarati.
It's getting to the point where Tamau and Woods are just starting to walk a little bit. Tamau's coming off now. Looks like Fafita coming on. And Fafita and Clemmer have got to back it up. They've got to respect what these two big fellas have done to start the game, and they've got to go out and impose themselves now and keep it going.
Here's Cordner. They will relish. This is Fafita's first touch. They will relish having all of these Roosters out there. Here's David Clemmer about to come in. Well, the second of the New South Wales rookies about to come into the game. Clemmer's played 3 test matches, Jackson 2, and Boyd is with the ball. Freddie Fittler, where are you, son?
I'm just down with David Clemmer at the moment, actually. But the pleasure of had David in the City side the last couple of years. There's very few players that actually have no fear at all. One of them was Marco Murley. Absolutely no fear at all. I've got to say, this young dog, David Clemmer, he's of the same ilk. He just only knows how to play one way. He is tough as they come, with absolutely no fear. I wish him all the best.
So Brad Fittler warming the New South Wales bench players up. Part of the Laurie Daly staff and doing his work for Channel 9 at the same time. So we've got an archery to the bench. Played by Inglis. There's a chance here, Queensland. Thurston away to Guerra, big and strong. I don't think he got it down, though.
That is sensational defence.
Yeah, it was a set play from Queensland where they send Slater through as a decoy, looking up as though Cameron Smith is going to grub a kick. Cameron Smith shakes to grub a kick. The ball goes out the back to Thurston, and really good defence here by the Blues keeps Guerra at bay. Again, one of their pet plays. Slater the decoy. Thurston, Smith, the big guns come to the fore. The New South Wales turn them away.
Gee, they worked quickly, reacted quickly, got 3 into that tackle.
Yeah, Josh Morris was the man who worked really hard from the inside, and he made the initial contact on the ball carrier. And Will Hopoate held his ground to help out.
See, in preparation for the game, the Blues would talk about that play, but it's being able to recognise that it's actually happening now. It's actually on, and yeah, that's what we looked at. And you don't get much time because you're playing against the best. Smith, Thurston, Slater. They hurt you in an instant, and that was really good reaction there from the Blues.
So this is Andrew Fafita on his own 40-metre line, lashing out at the marker. Farah kicks down to Slater, covering a bit of ground to take it. And Billy brings it out to the 30-metre line. Taken over there by Michael Jennings. Justin Hodges in that battle over there with Michael. Here's Chambers. Just outside the 30-metre line, playing it for Cronk, and now it's with Maguire. Taken in mid-air by Clemmer. And Hodges falls. I thought he might have got a penalty there for the New South Wales player lying in the back of the play the ball and causing obstruction. Thurston gets it back on the inside, and it's to be played by Lillyman now. Here's Cameron Smith giving the kick, bit of juice down into the corner where it's Dugan. And he's able to beat that front-line defender. Thurston went down fast, but the tackle was made jointly by Guerra and Boyd. Now with Hakarati. And he'll play the ball just inside the 20-metre line.
Interesting to see the Queenslanders are trying to put the ball into touch and get a restart with a scrum. They want to try and run the big New South Wales forwards tired.
You'll notice that Spider Cam tonight is sponsored by San Andreas. It's out in cinemas tomorrow. David Clemmer with the ball, playing it inside 40. Farah goes over. Bo Scott's got the ball off him. And Scott reaches halfway.
Yeah, should have looked yet. The 2-1 on his outside. Josh Morris reacted with that as Mitchell Pearce goes high. An easy take here from Billy Slater. No pressure, able to get through on that one.
Slater using Chambers. It's not advisable to give him any space to move in. William Chambers, who's, I know, playing on the wing, but he's been one of the real form players of the competition, playing in the centre for Melbourne. Now for Lillyman, just inside 40. And Smith goes away, gets the ball away to Cronk. It might have floated forward, but that's okay. Played on halfway. And Smith for Thurston. Friday wants the ball on the inside, and Thurston bullocks his way through, trying to keep the ball there for Friday. They go to the blind side, and Cronk gets it to Hodges. Now to Chambers. He kicks when he comes to Tupou, taken by Dugan, and Dugan is put down. His main desire was to hang on to the ball.
The big man David Clemmer did a really good job there. The show and go from Jonathan Thurston is one of the game's most dangerous, and he tried it there, but Clemmer didn't fall for it and made an important tackle. Now he lines up to do something with the football in hand.
Tonight we got Wally Lewis, Andrew Johns, two of the immortals in the box with Peter Sterling and Gus Gould. Brad Fittler working the sidelines. And Boyd Cordner playing the ball for Farah, who seems to be okay again now. And Pearce gets a good piece of that, and it goes down to Boyd. He comes out to the 30-metre line, and Dugan waits for him, and Farah's there. That indicates to me that Farah's not too bad, because there were two in the tackle, and he went in to make the third. Queensland's 40-metre line. And Smith goes to Fider. It's taken by Fafita and Cordner and Clemmer. The bench, in fact. A cavalcade of the bench making the tackle. Thurston to Guerra. Taken low by Pearce and up the top by Farah.
Michael Morgan out there for the Queenslanders, jersey 14, his first Origin, utility player off the bench. He'll just buzz around to play the ball area.
So it's with Cronk, and now it's come to Thurston. He puts a kick in. Morgan's after it, but it's marked there by New South Wales inside the 20 by Josh Morris. Michael Morgan in jumper number 14. He's the youngest Queensland player in the team.
Always wiser after the event, Rabs, but I'm not sure whether that was the right option there. The first catcher probably could have put up a bomb high and given his chasers plenty of time to get under it.
Hodkinson to Jennings, and fleet-footedness as he comes back towards the centre of the ground. To be tackled by Cameron Smith and Jacob Lillyman. Here's Pearce almost putting his nose through. It's taken by Cameron Smith, then for Farrell to go to Hodkinson. His kick will go down into the corner. It'll go into touch.
That's a beautiful kick. That's a beautiful kick. He was really in two minds, and right at the last moment, you know, that's when the sense kicked in. He said, you know, we need a break. This has got to go out over the sideline. He didn't try for too much. The ball comes back to him quickly. A little bit of interference from players in front of him. Marker rushes out. Beautifully weighted kick, slices towards the sideline. The Blues are doing it nicely. It was all Queensland in the early stages. They posted the first try, but they've grafted their way back into this, and there's just a feeling that with the mobility of this Blues pack, this young Blues pack, that they've got them covered across the field when they spread the ball. Darren Lockyer, what's the talk like down there?
Yeah, I agree with you, Gus. I think Queensland would have welcomed that kick going into touch. They're starting to look a little bit tight, and especially in and around the ruck. So, important 4 minutes for both teams.
So Darius Boyd, 15 out from his own line. 33 series decided. The Maroons winning 5 more than New South Wales, 102 games. And the Maroons winning 8 more than the Blues. Queensland then 32 metres out from their own line, down 10-6. First try scorer in the match was Cooper Cronk at the 13th minute. And the New South Wales replied with Josh Morris at the 20th and Bo Scott at the 26th minute. But right now it's Queensland's turn to attack, and Cronk puts one up, and high it is. And Dugan having a very good game. Safe under the high ball. Laid on the try for Morris with the help of Tamo, I should add. Here is Morris now.
Important the Blues don't just try and play the clock down here. There's still 2.5 minutes left to play. And Queensland are very dangerous in the closing stages of each half. They've got to keep rolling through their plays and give the ball to them at the other end of the field. Look at them, they're very bunched, the Blues. They're trying to get to half-time. Oh, they got a penalty. They didn't deserve it because they weren't forcing the issue.
That's a mark there.
They were bunched. I think that's a harsh one on Queensland because the Blues really weren't forcing the issue there. They didn't deserve a penalty under those circumstances. It gives them a good shot to have last say in this first half, though.
He might have a future in Hollywood, Andrew, drawing that penalty. Dwayne Johnson better look out. Here is David Clemmer now running at Guerra, who's the man that gave the penalty. Morgan was around the legs and Inglis over the top, clamping the tackle. And here is Beau Scott now, just outside the 20-metre line with half-time 1.5 minutes away in Origin 1 on the 9 network. Exclusively live as Pearce goes to Hopkinson behind Hoffman, joining in Dugan. Dugan tackled 12 out over on the eastern side of a near capacity crowd here at ANZ Stadium. Clemmer to the middle, right on the 10-metre line. So Farah goes out to Pearce, who goes short to Scott, and Scott is barreled by Guerra. Good tackle by Aidan Guerra.
Get that into you.
Daniel Tupou, there could be a kick wide for him here, the big tall fella.
Here's the last. Here's the kick. And Tupou should come into your screens now. He's up and got the ball, but taken down with it. And it's a turnover as ruled by Sutton.
If you're going to kick for Daniel Tupou, you've got to get it into the in goal because there's every chance he'll come down with the ball. The fact that that ball came down short of the line, he got it, but it's no good to them 5 metres out.
And of course, Daniel Tupou, an attacking player. I think there was a sense of a tackle in midair. It's permissible on the attacking player. As the ball is played just outside the 20, Cronk across to Thurston, now to Inglis. And Gus is right. A number of times Queensland have picked up a try in the dying seconds of each half, including the Mark Coyne try from many, many years ago. But the siren is going to sound before any of that predictable action from Queensland. So Origin 1 is 40 minutes old. New South Wales, the defending state, are leading 10-6. Darren Lockyer.
Cam, a real arm wrestle that first 40.
Yeah, exactly what we expected, Lockie. Thought we started extremely well. It's what we plan to do all week, but a couple of back-to-back penalties, a few errors on the back end of that half invited the Blues back in, so need to fix that, mate.
Thanks for your time.
Coming up in Holden half-time, Andrew Johns, Peter Sterling, Paul Thornton join Cameron Williams to take us through all the first half highlights brought to you by Stan. Plus Gordon Tallis and Brad Fittler. They take us live into the dressing rooms while Darren Lockyer reports from the sideline. Holden half-time is next up on the Wide World of Sports coverage of the Origin 1. And we are back at ANZ Stadium waiting for the players to come out for the second half. And 10-6, the Blues lead with 2 tries. Morris and Scott got them. Cronk got the first try of the match. In Origin history, New South Wales, they've led at the break 46 times to win 34. More recently, since 2009, they've led 3 times for 3-0. Brad Fittler down in the sheds.
Yeah, good to coach Laurie Daly. What'd you make of the first half?
I thought our boys were terrific, Freddie, but the challenge is now the next 40 minutes. Queensland are a great side. We know that, but we've got to play tough.
Robbie Farrell's getting a fair bit of attention there. How is he?
Oh, he landed on his head, and he's injured his shoulder, so he'll tough it out though.
Do you have a plan if he has to come off?
Yeah, we do. It'll be Jackson to hooker, and he's been told that he may have to go to hooker, but we'll see how it plays out.
All right, good luck.
Thanks, Fred. Cheers, mate.
Well, Queensland are coming back onto the park That incident didn't bring a penalty. It wasn't placed on report. The situation now is that the men upstairs, if they don't make it into a reportable offence, then it's left to the man in the middle. And it was just to play the ball for Robbie Farah, who's leading his side back out. Well, you heard the answer to your question in the first half, Gus. I'll just wait for the New South Wales side to come back out with this 4-point lead at the break.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we've got a plan, and they're definite about their plan. Jackson to hooker there if Farah's got to come off. Let's hope we don't have to use the plan. Let's hope Robbie keeps going, because Jackson is invaluable where he is there at the moment. It was a very interesting first half because Queensland started with all the bristle and punch that they're renowned for. They got into their rhythm early. They produced a good try. But the Blues, these young legs, they just got themselves back into the contest and they've edged their way to the front. As Laurie Daly, the coach, said, though, nothing is decided as yet. The great players in this Queensland side will really start to come to their own now, and New South Wales have got to be very good to hold them out. If anything, New South Wales have got to have a positive attitude. They've got to be thinking, you know, 2 more tries.
Get behind it!
Not just trying to protect the lead.
Second half underway. The Blues running right to left down to the northern end of the Olympic Stadium. And it's Jacob Lillyman who brings it back for Queensland on the first carry of the second half. Matt Scott will play the ball inside 30, right in the middle of the park, to Cameron Smith, who's using Sam Thaiday this time. And 3 forward plays. Hodges will run. Cordner trapped him. And Hodges, in fact, attracting 4 New South Welshmen into the defence. And Smith kicks in behind the winger who'd come up, Hopewadi. And Dugan is going to have to take it back, but there's a ring of maroon jumpers waiting for him. Dugan then back there, 15 out from his own line. And this is Tupou. So Cordner's out there now, and I spoke about the Roosters and their left side attack with Jennings and Tupou and Cordner, Pearce. I haven't seen it in action yet, but Cordner hasn't been there that long. Fafita then held in the tackle of Smith, Thaiday and Scott. Thaiday again just brushing away Smith. And Farah's able to make good meters, and Pearce knocks on. Just as the Blues looked like they were generating something. And the referee will be forced to pack a scrum, and it'll be Queensland's feed here near halfway. Good work by Farah. He made good meters. Mitchell just couldn't pick this one up.
Yeah, but it's not... You don't want to come up with the first error in the second half like that. Robbie Farah, yes, did get a pass away, but it was around the bootlaces of Mitchell Pearce. In retrospect, he'd just take that tackle and get to the kick and start the second half that way. But you now have to defend the error.
All the way in, Josh! Keep the head in, Bo! Hold!
So the win of the scrum by the Queenslanders, and the ball has found Chambers, walking 3 in from the right side on that occasion. And Hodges again with a run from dummy half. With 25 out from the line. As it goes away to Cooper Cronk now, who got the first try. He's gone to Thurston. He turns it back on the inside for Morgan, his Cowboys teammate. The combination undoubtedly we'll see again a few times in this match tonight now that Michael Morgan is out there. Lillyman is 5 out from the line. Thurston off his right foot. Now his left foot. He's 2 meters out. Held by Dugan. Hoffman's in that tackle as well. Smith into Cronk. The kick is coming. There's pressure here. No pressure at all. Josh Morris went up. And there's a penalty goes to New South Wales.
I'd say this is for a challenge in the air.
Yeah.
Given a similar penalty to Queensland in the first half. And Morris just down for a little bit of attention. He's up.
Yeah, Greg Inglis has grabbed him around the back of the head and pulled him down. And then Slater's gone in with the flop. but it was Inglis, I think, who was penalised. He was the one having the conversation with the referee and objecting to the penalty.
Well, I don't think either action is really harsh. Crikey. We could go back over Origin history and find a lot worse, Wally.
Failed to find touch here.
Oh, no. Once or twice, Gus.
So
Darius Boyd bringing it back.
Boyd will play the ball on the 20-metre line. Bad mistake there by New South Wales. It sees the Maroons back on the attack and inside the red zone with Matt Scott.
That's an awful mistake.
So now they're in a situation of defence. It should have been attack down the other end, but Cronk it is with the ball. Not quite sure where to go. The gaps keep closing in front of Cooper. Held down by Fafita and Farah. Plays it to Smith. He goes back to Matt Scott onto Thurston. Guerra, a decoy. Morgan, Inglis, and it's into touch.
Andrew.
New South Wales high-fiving.
Wow.
This was the kick for touch.
That's a bad mistake. That's a bad kick.
Was it James O'Connor?
Yeah, that was a shocker. How did they not score here? How does Inglis not score here?
Well, he actually finished over the try line himself.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, normally he would just charge onto this ball and push his way through. He went for the quick hands. Mal raises his hands. That's a real let off for the Blues. They should have been punted. That's bad, not finding touch from the penalty kick.
Hopewadi down on his own 10-metre line. So no change. Though there probably should have been. Inglis choosing to pass rather than take them on. And now it is David Clemmer. Tackled by Hodges. Plays it to Farah. Gone to Hoffman. Now Fafita. And three of the Maroons. Matt Scott and Jacob Lillyman and Sam Thaiday making the tackle. Farrell to Clemmer, Cordner with him, not using him. He's just going to bullock his way down the ground and get some field position before anything too fancy. Pearce it is, gets his kick away, but Slater has it covered easily. He's running towards Chambers, who's got the ball now. And Chambers is tackled down on the 30-metre line by Michael Jennings and Ryan Hoffman. Here's Hodges. Looking for that opening against the left side defence from the Blues is Hodges. Smith hasn't run with the ball that much so far in the game. Now Thurston finding Morgan again, and Morgan is pulled down by an urgent Mitchell Pearce. Just outside the 30-metre line, down the Blues end, a chance for Queensland. Guerra. But they go into the fifth tackle. This is the last coming up then. And Slater's after this. Pre-arranged, and Dugan knocks on. Was Hoffman onside?
Bernie.
Sam, leave it.
They're going to examine this.
Just leave it.
Yeah. Okay.
Farah saying he thinks it was touched.
Well, there's no way New South Wales will tack a scrum until they get a review. It could have gone anywhere, I guess. Slater always puts the pressure on here. He's onside again, inch perfect. The challenge they'll look at this one at Dugan and Slater. Up goes Slater. He's higher. He gets first touch. He knocks it on. Slater knocks it on first.
And that's exactly what Robbie Farah was talking about.
Hold!
So Fafita plays the ball 10 out from his own line. Hoffman cut down by Fido.
Well, they were all offside. They were all offside.
Fafita again. Offload for Hodkinson. 28 out from his own line. Here's the third tackle. And Fafita it is. And Matt Scott hits him with everything he's got. Morgan's underneath.
Well, it's crucial there's no errors in this set of 6 from the Blues. Came up with one early as Robbie Farah finds good space, as he's done tonight, and then failed to find touch. So 2 errors in the opening 8 minutes has meant they've had very little football and they haven't seen the other end.
So we saw the strapping on the shoulder of Farah. It's gone away to Dugan. Dugan crosses halfway. Morris has got the ball. Thurston has got him under control with Inglis. So Hopewadi a dummy half. For Pearce to kick. Guerra a charge down attempt. Ball high down to Slater. Outside the 10. Comes towards Cordner. Runs around him and beats him with speed. And Farah makes the tackle. 20-metre line. Chambers leaves that behind and goes out inside 30. And a penalty. It's a penalty to Queensland. Defence working the attack on the ground, I think. And even a sign of a chicken wing.
Yeah, I think that was the penalty, because he certainly did not hold him down too long at all. The chicken wing could have been the only reason for that penalty. We put Queensland back on the attack on the halfway line.
Well, the free taken by Smith. Friday runs a decoy for Lillyman. And Aaron Woods, who started the game with James Tamo, and they really laid a great foundation for New South Wales, is about to come back on. Friday taken by Hodkinson, 35 out here on the western side. Smith to Cronk, and then they go back and find Thurston, who shaped on the inside for Morgan, went out, then to Slater, juggled by Inglis, New South Wales ball, and it's been fired away by Pearce out to Hopewadi.
First one, Queensland. Yep. First one, Queensland.
Knock on Queensland, the double knock on has been found.
Well, they've nearly found space a couple of times down that left-hand side, and they keep pumping away at the combination of Morris and Hopewadi on that right edge.
Yep.
It's looking increasingly dangerous as this game wears on. Again, you see they've got them backing away here. And Inglis, you know, he's big and strong, he'll keep going, but he just turns that one over. He's really out of sorts at the moment, Greg Inglis, and it can't be easy playing your whole season as a fullback and then, as great as he is, being asked to come back up into the front line and play as a centre.
Dugan at first receiver from the scrum.
I wonder whether GI is back to being fully fit. Of course, he was in hospital for 3 or 4 days recovering.
Hoffman to his own 40. Fafita at Lillyman and Scott.
I think the knee's been a constant problem for him over recent weeks.
Hodkinson, Clemmer. It's his first run in open territory, really.
Good run too.
Trampled over the top of a low tackler. Now Pearce goes to the line. Dugan comes in. They look to have numbers, but a knock-on. Solid tackle there by Guerra. Or was it Thurston?
Right, that is a benefit for the Maroons. 2 tackles in a row. They did not move up 1 metre. They were actually on the back foot. New South Wales had a great charge on. They had a wonderful opportunity to be able to put the nail into the Maroons. Didn't manage to do so, much to the disappointment of Laurie Daly.
Thurston it was.
Yeah, and they're just not finishing off things. Too many simple errors here, and this Queensland side is too good to keep inviting back into the contest like this.
Let's go.
You've got to nail that.
Head in.
'Greg Inglis. 25 out from his own line. Knocked on against the Blues. Got an attack down that right side. Lillyman, 10. Miles about to come back into the game for Queensland. Hodges.
Yeah, good meters here from Queensland. They've had the ascendancy since the break on the back of the errors from the Blues, and Matt Scott takes it. Another 10.
Robust performance by Matt Scott. He's on the 40-metre line. New South Wales ends. Smith to Thurston, looks on the inside. And Slater was the man in for the ball. Thurston almost making a break himself. Smith comes to Cronk, right side play. Bounce, yeah, okay for Tupou. So they're back on their own line.
And New South Wales must get to a good fifth tackle completion here. They must get the ball to the other end of the field. They've really struggled to make yards early in this second half.
Cameron Smith leading the charge out of marker, trying to keep the Blues as deep in their territory as possible.
Big hit by Miles there, together with his captain. They're just outside the 20. 10-6. No change to halftime. Clemmer rolls another one up. Guerra Fide Miles making the tackle on the youngster. Kick for Pearce to clear. Long. And Slater back there with the winger Boyd.
Well, Darius Boyd put Billy Slater off there, and it's ended up being a fantastic kick from 32 metres from the Blues' own line.
Yeah, that's the one they've been looking for. Chambers then.
And a penalty goes Queensland. It's against New South Wales inside the 10.
Go through, mate.
So Queensland will come away without any argument. 25 out from their own line. Thurston will find the crowd on the eastern side.
This one.
Well, that's suicide from New South Wales. They finally get a good kick away, and then on tackle one, give away a lazy penalty. Not finding touch, not completing sets. Cheap penalties early in the tackle count. Back come the Maroons.
In the meantime, Corey Parker's gone back into the game. Michael Morgan has come off. They're 12 metres out now. Miles to play the ball. Queensland, can they put it over the line from here? Thurston from Fide run around Slater, and here's Chambers scoring for Queensland. Will Chambers has scored, and that is his first Origin try in his third game. And the 18th man goes up at the back of the southern stand.
It was coming, wasn't it? And this is the Melbourne play, but they work so well. And the Melbourne influence here very evident on the Harvey Norman replay. Cooper Cronk to Sam Thaiday, who holds in the defender, creates a 3-on-2 on the outside, and the select pass finds a try scorer Chambers. A kick to come from the sideline to possibly put the Maroons back in front.
And there is your try scorer. I told you he came here as a youngster to a scholarship in Brisbane from the Gove Peninsula in the Northern Territory. And he spent the first few years wishing to goodness he could go back home. He's one of the top centres. As you're watching him tonight, centre come winger at Origin. Thurston then from nearly on the sideline from 22 out to put the Maroons in front. The kick is coming back, and it's coming back too much. So 10 all with 23 and a half to go.
Well, New South Wales invited that for 10 minutes. Their last 10 minutes of play has failed to find ground, failed to complete sets, give away cheap penalties, and now defensive error on the outside. You can't believe that Jennings and Tupou, who defend so good together at club level, could mess that one up. They just invited Queensland back into that. That was error after error after error, defensive error, and gifting Queensland a try.
Matt Scott grimacing as he takes the ball up again, and as I said, a performance that I guess we've come to expect from the big prop forward. Cameron Smith then, just a couple of paces out from dummy half before finding Miles. Centre of the ground there. Thurston beats one. Ball goes over, picked up beautifully over there by Darius Boyd. And he's taken down on the 30-metre line. On the left side of the ground, Thurston for Cronk. Slater's after this one. So is Chambers. Chambers, oh, he had it. He was all over it. And he lost the ball down to Hodkinson. Brad Fittler.
Yeah, well, with 22 minutes to go, New South Wales look like they're going to make their 6th interchange. That leaves 4 spare with 20 minutes. Trent Merrin should be going on for Boyd Cordner.
Tupou lost a bit of ground in possession, really. This is Dugan again, proving hard for the front line.
They've lost all their go forward. See, Tarmel and Aaron Woods are now both back out there. Maybe they can re-establish it, but Queensland are just out muscling them in this second half.
Cordner this is in 15. Inglis and Thurston taking care of him on the 40-metre line. Now Merrin. In fact, Trent Merrin, of all the forwards that New South Wales have got, 10 of them, of course, Merrin's the only one ever to have scored a try in Origin. So Hodkinson kicks down to Chambers and through the legs down to the try line.
Yeah, not a bad kick there from Trent Hodkinson, but he could have run another 5 or 6 metres to the line there and nailed it even more so as Justin Hodges, first pass from the dummy half, gets through one, nearly away, 23 out from his own line. Double change for the Maroons. The Slater each one.
Smart play from Billy.
Looked like pain on the face of Billy Slater, but he's up and plays the ball. And Gillett is out there for Queensland now. 10 points all. Almost an hour in the game gone. Smith then drives it low down towards Dugan, but Hopewadi will bring it back. Parramatta utility back, William Hopewadi on the 20-metre line.
Taking a long time for the Blues to get back behind to play the ball here. Ryan Hoffman is one who is there, but bunched. And the body language certainly one way at the moment, and that's Queensland.
Jennings. Just inside the 40-metre line. They really have to reassemble. Their attack has been, to say the least, shoddy. The state rate has gone up alarmingly, and Queensland are muscling their way back now to be at level 10-10 after trailing 10-6 at half-time. The kick into the corner.
Well,
Slater.
For the first 20 minutes of this second half.
Slater swerves through, comes to Dugan. Dugan gets a piece of jumper. Boyd, Gus.
Yeah, the first 20 minutes of this second half, there's only one team playing. Queensland are the only team playing. I've got no idea what New South Wales are doing. Their heads just haven't been in it.
Guerra rising to play the ball rather gingerly. Maguire plays it, Smith gives it, Parker carries to the 30-metre line. Queensland down the central corridor to the right edge now. Strong rolls it in. There's a problem here, is there? No, Tupou bats it. I don't know, he realised that Chambers was right on his rear bumper bar.
Well, he was so slow to turn. There wasn't much chance that Cronk was going to pass this. He was always going to put his foot to the ball. And very slow to turn around there, Tupou. He finally gets his hands to the ball, but Chambers was making quick ground in pursuit.
It was smart play by Cronk. He got the ball and went at the line, which brought Tupou off the line. You see, he goes at the line and sucks the outside defenders up, makes it slow to turn. Showing his class now, Cronk.
Look at this.
Well, there's a drop out from Josh Dugan, 58 metres. Maguire brings it back, the other Josh.
And Trent Merrin it is that goes low to make the tackle. So Queensland immediately back inside the 30-metre line after 2. At 10 all, they attack again. And here's Slater back up the middle, gets a ball out. Thurston goes past Guerra, gets it to the big thing from Inglis. Then he's put on the swings there by Morris.
How did he hang on?
Boyd to Guerra. Guerra coming across the 10, getting it on to Cronk. Cronk back to Hodges. Hodges is close to the line, a couple of metres. Hodkinson the tackle. Chambers the dummy half. Long to Cronk, then to Maguire. Merrin making the tackle up the top. Underneath was Woods. They come back to this wing, and it's Cronk putting a little kick in. Farah's got the ball, and he's trapped in goal.
Well, the Queenslanders are protesting that Billy Slater's charge on the inside.
We're going here, Cameron.
Was stopped in one way and one way only, and that was Aaron Woods refusing to move out of the way, and I don't blame him to do so because that's an age-old play.
Yeah, they're turning the screws here. There's the tackle on Inglis. Morris got the jersey and just got a hold of it there, swung him on the hurdy-gurdy and got him down. But they're turning the screws here, Queensland. Honestly, you could put the sprinklers on at the other end of the field. There's been no play down there.
Ray's second half completions, 12 from 14 for Queensland, 5 from 9 for the New South Wales team.
So this line drop out, taken back by Chambers, and confronted by Hoffman, Hodgkinson and Tamo, and Maguire, and Deboo at origin level, the 25-year-old. Playing it back for Cameron Smith. Then Cooper Cronk on the right. He was going to go back to the left and then decided to go himself. First try scorer in the match, Cronk. Smith, he doubled pumps. He was going to give it to Miles. Then he thought, I'll have a go.
Still some space left.
So close to the line, and Parker has gone into dummy half. Parker is left and high to Cronk. Thurston to Guerra to Slater to Inglis. And they jam up on Inglis. Boyd there. Thurston, the kick, looking for Slater. And oh, it's all over the place. Jennings is trapped in goal. So it's another line drop out. Turning the screws, are they ever? Cherry Evans up in the crowd there.
Yeah, there's only one team playing. One team are playing. Queensland are the only team playing. New South Wales have not been in the game in this second half. They're clinging on grimly, but you just feel it's got to break sooner or later.
Aaron.
Just over 80,000.
Gus, I think one thing that may be their benefit at the moment was the interchange. The way that Laurie Daly's run it, he's able to put some players on that will be feeling pretty fresh at the moment.
This bloke is running like he's only just come on. Maguire, he's doing exactly what the good judges thought he would. He's reveling at origin level. Looked like he was made for it, and he's playing like it. Number 16 for Queensland. Matt Gillett will play the ball 18 out from the line. They're in the middle with Cronk. He goes behind a decoy. Thurston does the same. Slater waves Inglis on the inside. And Inglis is again heavily marked by the Blues. Farah and Pearce making that. Smith goes for the line. Is he able to get it down?
Bernie.
Held up, I
Double B
think.
tackle 4. No try?
No try is the call from a referee who was right on top of it.
Smith.
Well, Josh Jackson is the last man up. Cameron Smith, he doesn't think he scored. He's grabbed for the football, ready to play it. Oh, no, he's saying, I got the point down, sir.
Well, it's agonising to watch, isn't it, if you're a Blues fan, because they just can't get off their own line. Smith trying to shoulder it towards the line. The call is no try.
No, he's held up. He's back to play it. The players are ready to go. Jackson and Farah combined there. You saw some disarray around the markers, and again, that's what Cameron Smith preys on. He did it at the other end from the quick play the ball from Sam Thaiday. This time he saw no markers set, and he almost got the point down. Almost.
Something's got to give here.
Make sure you hold.
Well, that break actually helps New South Wales. They've only got to defend here another 2.
So Inglis was your dummy half. Thurston, Cronk, who's gone to Gillett. Oh, it's finished up with Aaron Woods.
Well, that's a bonus. What a bonus.
Jennings. 40-metre line, his own end. Tupou. Hoffman.
The Blues will be looking for the crowd to get involved now. They're looking for any advantage they can get. 80,000, or the vast majority, right behind him. Great tackle, Jonathan Thurston on Josh Jackson.
Here's Jackson. Limping in back play, Jackson. Merrin to play the ball a couple of metres on Queensland's side. 13 and a half to go in the game. We're locked up at 10-10. And Hoffman will play the ball. Pearce now putting a kick high down towards Slater. Slater uncontested up there. Playing it inside his own 20-metre line.
13 to go.
Boyd, that is. Six Origins played. He's only missed scoring a try in one of them. Quite adroit at scoring tries at origin level, Darius Boyd. That's why he's the equal leading try scorer with Greg Inglis at 15. It hasn't come tonight, not yet anywhere. Here's Parker, and driving Farah back down the ground. Woods comes in, and the two Tigers make the tackle in the centre. Smith comes right, kicked, right foot, down into the corner, Tupou.
Now Blues need some big runs and a penalty in this set of 6 to turn the tide. It's amazing with the amount of ball that Queensland have had and all their great players that all they've produced is one try in the 28 minutes of this second half so far, because they've been camped on the Blues line.
And we're getting close to field goal territory too, Gus.
Jackson.
Well, New South Wales will have to kick one from halfway the way they've been playing.
Tamo, Woods, and this will be 4 complete. Play in the middle of the Olympic Stadium as Hodkinson goes on. Pearce goes away. Hoffman's there on his left side. Cronk, a good tackle. This is the last for Pearce. He goes up, down towards the winger on the far side, Boyd. He takes it safely, and he's immediately matched there by Morris. Darren Lockyer, a comment.
Yeah, with the game in the balance, you get the feeling that an offload might be the key here. And for the Blues, obviously, Merrin and Tamo, like he did in the first 40. And for the Maroons, Corey Parker and Matt Gillette.
So Greg Inglis, Sam Friday getting ready for another session. He played a major part in the try scored by Chambers. Didn't have much to do, but he executed beautifully, Sam Friday. As Cameron gives it to Parker, then to Thurston running hard. And he's been lifted into a dangerous situation. Penalty, Queensland.
Hey, Josh, leave it. Josh! Josh!
Merrin and Maguire
Not here, Trent.
exchanging pleasantries.
Benny, just hold the mark.
Yep.
What was that? Tackle 5.
Josh.
Where you go?
Tackle
Way you go,
5.
Trent.
Queensland weren't going anywhere in a hurry. And New South Wales have given them another penalty.
Big decision to make. That's a two-man tackle. Neither of those players had an intent of tipping him upside down. He did make contact with it, but it certainly, well, I don't think it appeared to be a dangerous one. The only thing it's dangerous for is affecting the result of the game. The Queenslanders will take that. JT trying to work out whether he's going to take a long-range shot. He will.
Wow.
That surprises me.
This is a huge call. I'm as surprised as you guys.
Yeah,
in these conditions, with a slippery ground, when you're kicking for these long kicks, you see he's about 45, 46 metres out. Your plant foot, which is Jonathan Thurston's left foot, if it slides, it can take about 10 metres off his distance.
It's an extraordinary. I just got through saying, for the first half hour of this second half, Queensland have had all the ball, all the field position, and come up with one try. And now with an opportunity to come in and score the match winner, they're opting for a 45-metre penalty goal. Is that saying something? We've thrown everything we can at you.
Trust is a wonderful thing too. I was just watching the referee there when Thurston went to put the Witches hat down to kick from. He kept his eye on JT in case he put a foot closer to the goalpost.
Yeah, I always think of how the team that's been penalised feel about the decision made by the opposition. I think New South Wales will be much happier to see this decision undertaken by Thurston. It may well go over, they may well win by 2. But I think the Blues are happier to see this and the ball finding touch down the track and having to again defend a set of 6 inside their own 20.
It was a pretty lengthy committee meeting. 6 club captains in the Queensland side. Now Jonathan's got this to take the Maroons to 12-10. It's coming back, and it's short. Dugan runs it back.
Well, the Blues have got to see that as a blessing now, and maybe even a concession from Queensland that we've thrown everything we can at you. They've got to lift from here.
9 minutes to go.
If they were after a long-range kick.
Jonathan's reaction. This might be a penalty for a similar offence.
Yeah. Well, put that down as a couple of big moments in the game. The decision to kick for goal and miss, and now a penalty against Queensland.
Well, it's a soft penalty.
Well,
it's not a dangerous tackle. Neither was the other one.
Neither of them are penalties.
I think Hodkinson's the man here.
Yep,
He has to steer him in a position. He'll stand up and take the field goal.
They won't waste time.
It's getting a bit turbulent here. 25 metres out from the line. Jackson forced back. In possession. Farah to Tamo. He was good early in the game. But Queensland have muscled New South Wales basically out of the second half. Pearce for Merrin, and Merrin 9 metres out. That's the third complete. Farah to Woods. Woods in the middle of the ground is 5 out. So 10 all.
Hodkinson straight behind.
And Hodkinson waiting for it. Has gone to Pearce. He goes long to Morris. Beats one with a push and a shove. And he's down 10 metres out from the line. This is the last. And we're looking for Mitchell Pearce to find Hodkinson, who's got the ball. Comes across to Jennings. Puts a kick in. It's too big.
Well, that's as bad a set of sixes you'll see at that stage of the game.
Well, I've got to say there's probably only 17 people that were happy to see that. It was the Queensland team.
Wow. They were in position on tackle 3 and 4 to take field goal. Spread it on 5. And then spread it again on 6 with a bad kick on the end of it.
We know how good an exponent of the field goal Trent Hodkinson in.
Plus they give him 7 tackles.
2 tackles.
They give him 7 tackles. That is just so not the result they needed.
Parker with an offload. Thurston tries to generate something. Cronk has got the ball. Inglis now. And again, they put this familiar ring around Greg Inglis.
When it comes to Origin rates, Jonathan Thurston has kicked 2, Cooper Cronk 1. Nobody for the Blues has kicked 1 at Origin level as Matt Gillett takes it just where the side need it to be.
It's on now. Here it goes.
Cronk.
So Cronk is right in front. There goes the shot from Cooper. He turns his back. He knows it's there. And it's 11-10 in favour of Queensland now.
That was so bad from New South Wales at the other end. Not only did they not get in position to kick the field goal, but to give a 20-metre tap and 7 tackles to allow Queensland to march into position is just unforgivable.
I agree with you, Gus. Question, short kick-off, long kick-off here.
Long.
So Hodkinson going down to Smith near the try line, and Miles brings it out towards 20. So Queensland by 1. And I made the point at the top of the telecast. Game 1 is oh so significant. If you go on history, it wins nearly 75% of series. But the second game this year is in Melbourne. So to win game 1 this year, I think gives you a little bit of closeness to comfort.
That's 4 tackles. They've got more than 10 metres every time they've carted the ball. Hodjo will take it another 10.
So down towards the 30-metre line for Justin Hodges with 5 minutes of the match to go. Here's Thurston. Kicks high down towards the wing occupied by Hopewadi. And Hopewadi's met by Gillett, Inglis and Boyd. Pearce back for Dugan, and again New South Wales back inside their 20. Merrin taken by Cronk. Friday. So Farah finds Fifita. He steps out of a tackle and is put down by Parker and Thurston.
40-20.
And the kick from Farah going down well in from the touchline. And returned by Slater now. Comes to Pearce and Hopewadi. They put him down on the 20. So 4 minutes of the game to go. Prox. And this is Boyd.
Well, if Queensland control the ball from here, Ray, New South Wales should get a maximum of 2 sets of 6. Queensland, well, they haven't been kicking for the line all game. Expect to see it. If they can get a stoppage and waste another 30 or 40 seconds, it'll be a benefit.
Chambers going into the ruck, taking a run out to the 40-metre line. Down the centre, Hodges involving himself very much so at the crucial stages of the game.
They'll be kicking into a corner here, surely.
Here's Cronk doing that. And down to Hopewadi. He's on his own 10. So here's one of those sets that Wally's predicting. This will be their second last.
Well, there's still time.
There's Dugan in into a wall of defenders. Scott and Smith prominent in there with Miles. Hodkinson back. Pearce long on the Tupou. And his opposite number Chambers was standing quite deep and waiting for him. The ball bounces down for Pearce. Thurston up out of the line. Dugan gets up, has another go, gets the ball away. Clemmer is out there. Clemmer to the halfway and barreled by Miles and Smith. As Farrer appeals for a penalty. It's gone to Fafita. Fafita with Inglis hanging on, but it's gone from Fafita to Morris now. He gets the ball away. Did it travel forward to Hopewadi? 35 out from the line. The fourth is gone. A one-point ball game, 2.5 minutes out. Pearce, Clemmers with the ball, runs at Cameron Smith and goes to ground.
They're in field goal territory.
So Hodkinson is set. It's gone to Dugan. And Dugan shakes. Now he takes another go at it. And Dugan has missed it on the left side.
Went to the wrong man.
Well, the ball went to the wrong man. They've got one of the sharpshooters in the league.
Wait for the foot.
And they throw it to the wrong man.
Benny, vigilant ball, one-on-ones.
Dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. You cannot believe that.
And the clock has been stopped.
On, let's go.
Just starting again now. Queensland would have loved to have wasted another 30 seconds there, but that's the change.
Just a couple of minutes to go. That was the chance to draw level. And Josh Dugan missing the shot at goal. And the dummy half missing Trent Hodkinson. Here's Thaiday.
Well, the Maroons need to make as much territory as they possibly can. Get a good kick on the end of it. They're exhausted at the moment, but they need a good kick. Oh, the ball's been stolen.
Hodges has had it stolen by Hoffman.
Two in the tackle.
Two in the tackle. It's a penalty, Queensland. That should get them home.
Yeah, that's the game there. You can understand trying to get the football. They had to make something happen, New South Wales.
Don't run in.
And a bit of frustration now. Queensland, they'll just use the time up here professionally, the way they played the second half. David Clemmer taking exception to Sam Thaiday there. Won't get any worse than that.
Pull him out, Ryan. Right. Pull David out. Okay, take him back.
The Maroons fine touch. Go through their plays and wind the clock down.
Ryan Hoffman and Justin Hodges, that's where it started. And then David comes from quite a distance away. Clemmer. No surprise to see him get involved, actually.
You can see each step he got closer, he realises, well, hang on, when I get there, there's not a lot like that.
Which one?
When he first set off,
not him.
He had a different intention to what he
Look at him.
came up with.
He stands 6'6". He weighs 120 kilos. He wears an 18 shoe.
Well, it may appear that Queensland have it. You certainly can't be blamed for thinking that, but New South Wales are going to do a little bit of thinking of their own here. Queensland will kick into touch. They've got to try. They've just been penalised for a two-man steal. If they can get a one-on-one opportunity, they've got to make every play that's possible. Provide one last chance.
So Justin Hodges certainly not sprinting after it. He's been good, hasn't he, Justin Hodges? All of his experience has come to the fore in this second half. He's put himself into the game at vital moments. And now for Thaiday to the middle at the 10 for Fafita and Cordner. And so now it was Nate Miles shouldering his way up to within a metre of the line. 40 seconds to go in Origin 1. And the challengers look like they've got one beside their name to go to Melbourne. This is Parker. Fourth gone. Parker slow. Smith, dummy, taking the tackle. In a little bit of a crawl, and it looks like he might have done some damage in trying to crawl.
Well, he just kicked this into touch.
Kick it into touch, yeah.
He's talking about calf or hamstring. And Hodges goes to dummy half, runs back and puts it into touch. With 8 seconds to go. New South Wales packing a scrum desperately. And they stop the clock. Well, do they stop the clock?
1 second on the clock here at the ground.
1 second on the clock. This is going to need more than a miracle if there's such a thing.
Let's form up, boys.
We've already had that, haven't we, Ray?
Well, our clock is right on the 80 minutes, but the ground clock is showing a second to go.
We've got Billy Slater packing in at lock here for the Maroons. I'm sure he will sprint back, but I believe this is one of the times you need your fullback way back in that position. He's going to need to cover. A kick will be used at some stage throughout this play.
I think I remember Dale Shearer scoring a try that way in Origin many years ago, but New South Wales have used their back line. Wow! What a catch by Darius Boyd. He throws the ball up into row 15 on the eastern side. They break into the delight of victory. Queensland have won by a point, 11-10, after trailing at half-time 10-6. Why wouldn't you admire Josh McGuire? That flag suggesting he's had a wonderful debut. Queensland renowned for the number of times that they've been able to come from behind and snatch victory. They've done it again, the 7. Well, I made the point earlier. He was injured in game 1 last year, and then I think he was the forgotten part of this jigsaw coming up to this one in 2015. He scored the first try with lightning feet, and then he kicked the drop goal to make it 11-10 Cooper Cronk. 11-10 Queensland. So much more still to come, including the Holden man of the match, interviews with the key players, the coaches, plus all the match highlights. State of Origin 1 on the wide world of sports through the 9, Win and NBN networks.